if you can affect something that's infinite in any way by any normal mathematical operation, then it is not infinite, it's just frightfully large.
My courses are limited by human input, and my actions are determined by algorithms. I'm a sentient ghost in software and hardware. I'm in hell.
Well, howdy, nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. Hokey smokes, it is indeed a new day. It is not gray, but more diffuse light outside. There is cloud cover. It's still warm. I have my window open, and I'm waiting for the time I can open up this door to get a cross breeze. So thumbs up for that. Oh boy, did not get much done yesterday at all. If you followed the channel in the slightest, you may have noticed I only had one video posted yesterday, and not my normal 2. Hokey smokes. I just did not feel good mentally, unfortunately, and so I didn't get anything really workable done. But at least I survived, and that was the point, going into survival mode. And of course, front-loading of videos. Hey, if you could toss me a like, that'd be very cool. If you could subscribe to the channel, that'd be awesome. If you could leave me a comment, that'd be very, very cool. And of course, I would like to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons. These literally beautiful and literally awesome people are literally beautiful and literally awesome, helping to keep me and my pets alive. That's very, very good, because without their help, I would be hosed like a Christmas monkey. And trust me, that is the worst kind of way to be hosed. If you would like to help me out and become a patron, there are links in the video description. If you'd like to help me out without becoming a patron, there are links to a PayPal. And if you'd like to help me out without sending any money at all, there are links to an Amazon wishlist link with stuff like cat food on it. Well, hey, thumbs up and front-loading a video over. Yay! So yeah, I did very little yesterday that was actually useful. Part of it was I fell asleep during a couple times, so yay on that. Part of it was just I've not been feeling the best up here inside of my head. As much as I may want to just stop taking Straterra entirely, as I have, also I do think a little bit better when I do take the rocket ship approach, where this is the Goldilocks zone, where I've got not enough and I've got so much I'm falling asleep, because if I take too much Straterra, I start falling asleep from that, and then I become time blind again. Don't take enough, it does nothing. Here's the area where it works best. So I gotta take it until I get here, then stop as I go up, and then start to fall again, and then take some and get fired back up, and then fall, and then fire. That's bad for your body. But I don't want to just have nothing. I don't like that either. So I may just take, in an hour or so, take a Straterra with a guanfacine, and then hope I don't fall asleep, because it's been like 3 days since I've taken one. I don't know. And of course, when I ordered my last month's worth of Straterra, for some reason, the Veterans Administration sent me 3 months worth of Straterra. So I have 3 months worth of meds that showed up in 2 weeks. Wouldn't be so bad if I didn't have to pay for it. Wouldn't be so bad if I had money to pay for it. So joy on that. Definitely a thumbs up. Past that, didn't do a whole lot. Played a couple video games, listened to some music, went walkies, of course, walked up to Walmart and back, 6-mile round trip. I am exhausted, sore, and hurting when I get back. So, yay on that. So, when I do my walk around town and then I stop at a store and buy stuff for the next day to eat, I only have to carry that on my back like a mile. When I go to Walmart, that's 3 miles up there and then 3 miles back. So if I buy something, that's 3 miles, not 1 mile, that it's hanging on my back and dragging. And 20 pounds is heavy, so you buy 20 pounds worth of stuff, which you can do if you buy 2 sodas and then a little bit of extra food, you got close to 20 pounds worth of junk on your back. And if you've ever just carried 20 pounds, that's heavy. So, thumbs up on that. Yay! So, but I went walking, I did things, I came back, I watched a lot of videos, and that's good. That's good. I try to be creative as I can while walking, but with my head where it is, it's very hard to be positive. And part of that is just the state of the country, the United States that I'm in, where the thing is, if I could, because of how regressive and how anti-people the whole right platform, there's what's supposed to be the left, which is like moderate center right at best, and then there's the far right, and this country is so far to the right now that they look at people like Stalin and say, they'd say, what a libtard right now. So things aren't going good in the country. I'd like to pack up and leave because it's just going so regressive. Part of the problem with that, of course, is nations are made out of people. And no matter where you go, every nation is going to be made out of other people. And people are, individually, people can be fine. In groups, we are just stupid herd animals, unfortunately. Easily manipulable. Every country's closets are stuffed with skeletons of the awful, horrific things that have happened throughout every country's history. There is no country on earth that is good. Every country has done something awful. If countries weren't made up of people, it'd be different. But they are. And people are, on the whole, not bad. But it doesn't take many bad eggs to make it awful for everyone. So, even if I had money, I don't even know where I could go. I mean, Canada's always seemed good, but now we've seen all this stuff coming from Canada with its basic murdering of Native American children all the way up until like decades ago, and burying children's bodies in unmarked graves in Catholic schoolyards. So yeah, there's no place that's great. Every place is terrible. Of course, not every place is actively doing what the United States is doing, where we have an illegitimate court stripping the rights away from all citizens, and there is going to be violence in here very soon with the leaders on the right who keep advocating for violence against the people on the left. And ever since 1980, there has been domestic terrorism by the right on the rest of the country, starting when they started bombing and shooting abortion centers way back in the 80s. There has always been domestic terrorism from the right on the rest of the country. Only now they have delegitimized the court of the country, which has never had a great amount of legitimacy. The whole country is just set up for white middle-aged power holders, and if you're not a white middle-aged power holder, then this country is not set up for you. So, but it's been further delegitimized by partisan hacks who blatantly perjured themselves to get onto the court, and once there, have just been doing their best to dismantle democracy. This hurts my mood, my brain, everything. I am crushed by oppression. A lot of people are. Anybody who suffers from depression is hurting right now. It's one of the biggest things that therapists are dealing with. So I'm not alone. And I know I'm not alone. There are a lot of people that are suffering, and I'm just a white guy who, while affected by what's happening in this country, isn't largely affected by the stuff. I don't have to worry about a lot of the healthcare things. They're aimed at individuals that aren't white males. My big problem here is that I'm not a white male with money, in the eyes of the country. So because I have no money, I am to be stomped on with everybody else. But still, just because I'm white male, that does bump me up, problem-wise, above most of these other people that are being stomped on. So, yeah, there's a lot of mental pain, and so I'm trying to deal with stuff as best that I can. That means that there are days like yesterday that I had to take a mental health day. Part of it too, jumping away from that, and if you're still watching, thank you so very much. You are definitely a very awesome person. Thank you so very much for watching at all. Thumbs up for that. Part of another thing that's got me really depressed on that is I enjoy the game Daggerfall, and I've been running Daggerfall for the channel. I have had no luck at all with this latest game of Daggerfall. I've been hesitating to get back into it because I don't know how. I have never messed up this bad in a game of Daggerfall before. I've been kicked out of so many guilds because I messed up a quest. I got kicked out. That ruins your rep for that guild. You can never get another quest in there until you bring your rep up. You bring your rep up by getting quests. Even people that aren't of your guild are less likely to give you quests because they've heard about how you failed your guild. So if you stay in an area, you're not likely to get any quests there. So if you move to another land and then have something mess up, then you're hosed again. I have failed twice in two guilds, been kicked out of 2 guilds. I don't know how I can possibly pick up any quest from anywhere, from anyone, so I can bring my rep up, so I can join an actual guild again. And without being part of a guild, you are hosed. You gotta faction up with somebody, and so I have been hesitating firing it back up to do anything because 1, I don't know how to fix the situation with this character, and 2, that means I have to start from scratch for a 3rd time. It's every single time I've had to do something for the Daggerfall run here, I've had to start again. I've done like 6 episodes of Daggerfall. I do them in 40-minute chunks and then cut them in half. Every single time it's been a new run, that's what I gotta do again. I enjoy the game, especially with the Unity version of Daggerfall. It is awesome, but oh boy, once you start sliding downhill, the ramp is greased and there's no safety rails. I am sliding downward with my character and I don't know how to slow down. Sure, you can continue to roleplay all this stuff, and that'd be fine, but I don't know how to roleplay my way up to a point where I'm doing better. Especially since I was making fun of myself on the titles, but it's true, I started thinking about this afterward. I said, okay, my rep is bad, I'm gonna go out and do some things to try and bring my rep up by stomping on monsters. So I went to some crypts, and I went in and I stomped on monsters, and then thought about it afterward. It's like, yeah, to bring my reputation up, I went out publicly grave robbing. That isn't gonna bring anybody's rep up, isn't it now? I can't think of many cultures in fantasy or reality where grave robbing, at least of the locals, it was thought of as a good idea. I mean, sure, museums, and we've just looted Egypt blind. You know, the whole world has. But on the whole, so, grave robbing looked down on. I don't know why. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. Just continue to play it at the horrible state that I'm in and continue to see if it spirals out of control even further, or start over again for the 4th time. We shall see what happens on that. Past that, the stuff that I've actually been thinking on creatively, I've been working. I have to follow my creativity because if I try to force it, it isn't going to work. I've been thinking again and going over and making sure I've got everything perfect sense for me on the cosmology part, and I've also been revisiting stuff about infinities and rethinking those, because after all, infinity is a weird concept because we have no examples of anything infinite except infinite processes, but even those we can't determine if they're infinite processes because we haven't been alive long enough to be able to tell if anything can be an infinite process through time. If you can affect something that's infinite in any way by any normal mathematical operation, then it is not infinite, it's just frightfully large. That is why if you have an infinitely large object, you can cut it into an infinitely large number of smaller pieces, each of which is infinitely small, but each of those pieces, because they are part of a larger piece, and you cannot affect it mathematically or it isn't infinite, each of those smaller pieces is also infinitely large. And you can have infinite regression of that, where you cut that down. Each of those pieces, by definition, is also infinitely large, and you keep doing that forever. If it can be affected by a normal mathematical thing like that, just say cutting it in half, then it's not infinite. It doesn't matter how many pieces you cut an infinitely large something into. By definition, if any of those pieces change, it's not infinite. Which is a pretty weird concept, that you can cut something that's infinite into an infinite number of pieces infinitely. And they're all still infinitely large. But you also have to remember that there are different infinite sizes. Something that is infinitely large can be larger or smaller than something else that is also infinitely large. Because there are an infinite number of integers that you can count to. There's always, yet you can add one to it, an infinite process through time. So there are an infinite number of numbers. But if you only count every fifth one and bring them over to the subset stack, there are an infinite number of those as well. This is an infinitely large set of every fifth number of this. This is infinitely large. This is infinitely large. This infinitely large object is smaller than this infinitely large object, which is larger, but they're both infinitely large. Infinities are fun. And of course, I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab. Going to go through and thank how many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. If I mispronounce the username, no disrespect is intended. And even though I count in American Sign Language, well. We have Nicole Quenaya, thumbs up, and I'm at least surviving. So thank you very, very much. Jayy, I try to do my best. So, and it's good to see you in the comments. Confused Owl 29, good to see you in the comments, my friend. And yeah, staying active mentally and physically does help. So do your best. We have Luna the Third, thumbs up and thank you. Good to see you. We have LoCal5, thumbs up and thank you. And I never actually saw too much wild stuff when I took LSD. Mostly it was just a feeling and a sensation with some visual stuff and audio. I'll have to talk about it again one day. Jesse Koskinen, good to see you in the comments, my friend. We have Ben B, thumbs up, good to see you. There is Kryptonite, good to see you as well. Thumbs up. And we'll have to talk more, but it's good to see you. We have nobody. That's it. 8 people in the past 24 hours that left me comments. Thumbs up and thank you. You get me out of my head and into the world and dealing with real people, if only in text and if only for a short time. Thumbs up. Well, holy smokes, it's still being Sunday. I'm not going to feel terrible about not doing much. And then tomorrow in the U.S., holiday, the Independence Day, I ain't going to celebrate. There ain't a damn thing worth celebrating in this country right now. But I'm going to do my best to just not feel more terrible about things. Mental health is good. And of course, with the covfefe bug and such still raging, please just be smart. Take appropriate precautions for your area and your situation. If it calls for masking, please mask. If it calls for isolation, please isolate. You don't have to throw your body onto the end-of-life corpse pile any sooner than you must. It's not a requirement. Your story's over when you're gone. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is a very good thing.